Hi there, Coach Latanya here. Just wanted to share my testimony with you today. And I've done this several times and it's been long each time. So I'm going to try to keep this quick, okay? So I shared back in February that I was going through a season of transition, and I truly was going through a season of transition, a lot of training. I like to say that it is the dust is stirring up, and as the dust begins to stir up in my life, I know that Creator is getting my attention. Just as the burning bush, when it got Moses' attention, that stirring up gets my attention. Now, this is not the first time, but because it has happened throughout my life many times, I now know to be still and to listen. And so I don't move left, I don't move right, I wait. Because I have moved left and right in the past, and it has cost me a great deal of time, heartache, pain, and resources. So I'm trying to minimize that. So I wait. Now, in that, I had to let go of some things. When you go into a new season, you are going to have to let go of some things. And so many of those things may be very comforting for you. And I had to let go of a level of comfort. I had to let go of a level of just knowing what was comfortable. I love routine, and I had to let go of routine, and I had to be led into into a place that the Lord was calling me. Okay, I wasn't quite sure what was going on. All I know is I was just being led by the word of the Lord, just being led, and so. We ended up going to a new church, and the first day we go there, the message really hit home. It really spoke to me because the message was about being stuck in a rut. And we can do the same thing over and over and over, and that rut becomes so deep that it's hard to get out of. It's hard, and you find yourself stuck. And you don't know you're stuck because it's comfortable, but you're not going anywhere. It's like being stuck in mud. And so we had to, it was so on time, that word, that I knew it was from God. So there was an invitation to go up for prayer. I went up for prayer, and the woman prayed for me, and she said, "Oh my goodness, the Spirit of God is all over you." She said, "This is amazing." And she said this is ministry. And that was confirming, because I knew I heard it, but I wasn't sure. I needed confirmation. And so I needed confirmation. I'll get into that another time. But she gave confirmation. And when it comes to prophecy, we can all prophesy. It doesn't make us a prophet. We can prophesy because we're tuned into the Spirit, which means we can hear the Spirit of God. We can hear, we can sense, we can feel, we can say, right? And so she was able to say what was on the mind of God. And so she said, okay, I know what this is because I've been there. She said, He is going to lead you step by step. One day He may say go this way. One day He may say go that way. But go where He tells you. Do what He tells you to do. And so that now she gave me instruction. And I love that. So if you prophesy, then you also want to be able to hear the Holy Spirit to give instruction for that individual, so that it helps them to be more grounded. And so in that, I was still praying, and I remember I was asking the Lord one day in my kitchen, and as I'm just praying, my husband comes in and he said, I had a dream last night, and we were at a petting zoo, and in this petting zoo, you were trying to touch the lion, and all you wanted to do was touch the lion. And it was so profound to me, because that is my desire, is to always, I love worship because I want to touch the lion. I want to touch God in the services, the programs, the products that I create, that I make, that I do. I always want to touch the lion because that is how I'm effective. And so, but in touching the lion, I want others to touch him as well. So during this time of uncertainty, I had been listening to this song, I Trust in God by Elevation Worship. And it really ministered to me. And my husband and I went to Miracle Night. Now, this was probably 3 months later, 2.5 months later, and they had a guest speaker who was an evangelist, and he there was another invitation to the altar, so I wanted to go up in faith because it spoke to me, and I wanted to hear the Lord. So stepping out for me is not just believing, but stepping out in faith also requires action too. So many times you would see the prophet and they would say, what is it? Wash in the pool 7 times. There was an instruction. Sometimes we think with prophecy that it's going to happen regardless, but there's a condition, and so we have to come into partnership with that. So for example, if someone says, well, you're going to be married by this time next year, right? Next year, then that means that all of the baggage and the things that need to be worked on, God is going to take you through situations and circumstances that will give you the opportunity, right? The opportunity to undo and to come out of those things so that that marriage can happen. But if you choose not to, because it's more comfortable not to, then that marriage won't happen. So it is conditional. And so it's important for us to understand that, well, what did I not do something, or did I, yes, there are false prophets out there, absolutely, but every prophet is not false. You have to be able to test the spirit. Okay, you have to be able to test the spirit, and we need the spirit of discernment to do that. We cannot test the spirit without the spirit of discernment. So we need to pray for discernment, and then we need to pray about, the information that the Holy Spirit is giving us, that we're receiving about that individual. But all prophets are not fake, and that is not wrong. That is not. It's unfortunate that we live in a time where prophets are so bashed and apostles are so bashed. It's so disheartening when the Old Testament was largely written by prophets and the New Testament was written by apostles. It's disheartening to hear that. Believers, we are not a member. We are many members, one body. That's important to understand, to just think about that. During that time, the Lord had sent people into my life to really feed and to just pour in and to teach me about ministry. Just really pour in and just give like a crash course, literally. And it was such a blessing, such a blessing. And then he sent individuals who I was able to connect with, a community of like gifted individuals. He's been teaching me about community in my own life and why it's so important. Community, when it comes, whatever your goal is, you need people who are like-minded or like-focused on that goal, right? Going to church, people who are like faith, right? You go to family reunions because this is your family, right? I connect with my family, my nation, Skudore Wokan. Those are my people. And without them, there is a void. I need them. That is my family. That's who I am. They have stories and histories and so much that I share, but I understand. I am healed. Last year we had a harvest gathering, and it was so healing just to be with them. That's community as well. And so unfortunately we stick to a community of faith and community of people who are the same color as us many times. But there's so many different communities that we should be a part of that grows us and matures us. He plugged me and gave me the opportunity then to connect with a community of like gifted individuals, and just being in community, right? I'm in a season where I'm not talking as much. I'm talking a lot on the videos, but I'm really taking in a lot in this season. I'm learning a lot in this season. In this season, I find myself being quiet more than I am talking. It's refreshing for me because it shows me how much I don't know. And I like that. I like being in a place like that because I get to learn. That's a blessing to even have the opportunity to have a seat at the table to learn. And so he plugged me into a community, gave me the opportunity to be plugged into a community of like gifted individuals. And just from that, I have grown spiritually. I'm understanding my gifts better. I'm understanding how to operate in them, how to flow better. And Just recently, I had this conversation with a woman, and we were talking about wellness. And she has a wellness business as well. And we're just talking about what we're doing and how we're, doing in our business and things like that. And I was sharing with her, well, I'm doing this new project, and it is incorporating faith. And she said, oh, I'm in ministry. I've been in ministry for 16 years. And I'm asking her, okay, so what type of ministry? And it's prophetic and apostolic prophetic. And it was so refreshing because she and I talked, because I knew the Lord was leading me. Before that, a few days before that, actually, I had a vision where I was being pulled into a group, another community, right? He's bringing along relationships where I can mature. And the Bible speaks about wise counsel, right? We need wise counsel. I am never going to tell you that you shouldn't be among other individuals, because we need wise counsel, okay? And so as she and I were talking, she shared so much, and I learned so much. It was so full. It was so full that it took me days just to really take in a lot of the things that she was saying, to think about them. And she shared this book. It's called The 7 Steps of Sonship Maturity. And it is by Apostle Richie J. Housley Sr., Sonship Maturity. Apostles are the fathers and mothers. They set the foundation, the groundwork from which the faith shall be built on. Yeshua said, upon this rock I will build my church. Unfortunately, the churches that are built now, many of them largely are not built on a firm foundation. They are built on principles and ideas, and also doctrines of demons. It is very good just for foundational, okay? One of the things the Lord was teaching me in this season is that I had to come out of that slave mindset and into sonship. And so when she shared this with me, because we were talking about that, and I was talking about those principles, and she said, oh, you got to read this book. So there were so many things that the Lord had been touching on and mentioning to me, but he brought her into my life to really build on those things that he was showing. So it was so affirming and uplifting and refreshing. I've said this before, I'm Skodore Wokan, but my Indian name is Red-Tailed Hawk. And red-tailed hawk in my nation, to many indigenous nations, is like a messenger. When you see that red-tailed hawk, it is Creator speaking to you, to either to pray, to seek, to warn. It's a message. And I know that the name that my chief gave me was assigned by Creator. I know it without a doubt. During that same time, I was working with a client and, helping her get healthy again, get strong again. She said, you know what? You are what we call a shaliach. And a shaliach is a messenger. And I love the bigness of God, because when we come together as people, not nations, but as people, we can say the same name, but in different languages. One may say Yeshua, one may say Jesus, one may say, the same name, Christ. It's different nations saying the same, different nations, different tongues, different languages saying the same thing. So that was confirming to me, very confirming. And I'm just grateful for them and grateful to God for them. And so, but the name of the ministry is what really brought it home for me. And the name of the ministry is Eagle's Nest Christian Fellowship. And so after I got off the phone, I'm just like, wow, Eagle's Nest Christian Fellowship. After speaking with her, the Holy Spirit said to look up the name of an eagle's nest. And an eagle's nest is called an eyrie or an eyrie. And an eyrie is the resting place for birds of prey. Birds of prey like the eagle, the ravens, and the hawks. 1 Kings 17:2-6. It says, God then told Elijah, get out of here and fast. Head east and hide out on the at the Kerith ravine on the other side of the Jordan River. You can drink fresh water from the brook. I've ordered the ravens to feed you. Elijah obeyed God's orders. He went and camped in the Kerith Canyon on the other side of the Jordan. And sure enough, ravens brought him meals, both breakfast and supper, and drank from the brook. And he drank from the brook. And so those ravens were ordered by God. When it comes to indigenous culture, the colonization has separated us from relationship, has painted the picture that we are separated, that we are heathens, that we don't know God. But when you look at this, the ravens were ordered by God to feed the prophet. I was reading, and one of the words of a medicine man or woman is a holy man or holy woman. It's a friend of mine gave me, and it is about a Catholic catechist, and his name was Nicholas Black Elk. He was a medicine man, but also a catechist. And one of the questions that was posed in this book was, if you believe in God, why now? Why are you still a medicine man? I don't get it. And he said, because becoming a Catholic did not take away his view of Creator. It widened it. I think in his language, Lakota is Wankantaka, and I'm probably mispronouncing it, but that is the name of God in their nation, okay, in their language. And so it didn't change the view, it broadened. The book has really helped because of sonship. This is something that the Lord was already showing me, that I need to operate from a level of sonship, and not no longer that slave mentality. And one of the areas he was teaching me is I was hearing some individuals pray, and he said, just listen, that prayer, I never said beg and I'll give it to you. Ask and it shall be given unto you. But it was begging. And when we have that slave mentality, because we've been conditioned here in America with that slave mentality, that we need to beg God for everything. We need to perform to get everything we need. So by him bringing me alongside other individuals, other communities, to grow me, to mature me in my spirit, in my emotions, in my life, right, in my walk, it has made my life more full. And so I'm sharing that because he's called me to create this community for women who are called into entrepreneurship, women who have the spirit of entrepreneurship. They know that they are called to do something, to produce something. I am helping women, called to help women grow deeper in Creator, deeper in God, a deeper relationship, so that they can realize or manifest the glory of God in their life, in their business, in their families, in every area of their life. Unfortunately, again, with religion, it says that you need to be at church Monday through Monday. But if you're called to a people and to serve a people, and you're not operating, you're not moving in that, you have no idea what your spiritual gifts are. You have no idea what your purpose is. You have no idea what you're passionate about. No idea. You do know what time to go to church. You do know what time to go to work. But outside of that, you're just existing. This is a time where the Lord is saying, listen, I'm going to help you come out of that. And so I am so excited, and it's going to happen with community. So in this community, I will be sharing resources. I'll be sharing teachings. I'll be sharing, teaching you how to come into, teaching you how to cultivate a prayer life, teaching you how to cultivate a prayer practice, teaching you how to hear God, teaching you the tools of, I'm not doing it for you, I'm teaching you how to. I'm not, this is not church, it's not like church, this is like a school. Teaching you how to come out of things and coming out of agreements. There's a lot of things, so much that we're going to cover. And I'm so excited to do this with you and for you, because had I had this when I started my journey over a decade ago, I would have been further along. But I thank God for the opportunity to be there for you so that you can go further, faster. Okay, so I had to share this testimony because as I begin to share on my YouTube channel and begin to share on my Facebook on Elevated Woman Lifestyle, you will understand where I'm coming from. So this was the groundwork, okay? Remember the dream I told you my husband had about the lion. So when you see my logo, it is the crown, right? It's the crown, but it's a lion in the middle. And the lion is faint because my goal is not just to touch the lion for myself, but to help you touch the lion and to help other people touch the lion as well. That is the good news, that we can touch the lion. We can touch the lion because of Yeshua. He died. He gave his life that we can touch the lion. And so I want to thank you for your time. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you're called to business, if you're interested about it, you're not quite sure, you know you're supposed to produce something, you feel like you're supposed to produce something, you feel stuck, uncertain, I invite you to like my Facebook channel and my YouTube channel. I've not started posting there yet because I needed to get this video done first so that it can be built upon. Okay, so that way all the videos that come from that, you will understand, okay, this is, now it makes sense. All right, so yes, I still have my fitness business. Yes, I still have my product line. I'm going to be building on that as well with some new products in the fall and in the winter. But now I also have this as well. Creator has given me strategies from which to manage all of that, and I'll be teaching on that as well, because if you are a prophetic entrepreneur and you see and you hear and you sense and you feel and you have all these things, you get so excited and you know you're flowing in all these different gifts, you're multifaceted. And so it's not that you have ADHD, and if you want to rock with that title, you can rock with that title, but it is that you have to juggle more. And so there's a system from which you juggle more. So I just wanted to thank you again for your time. And if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, like, share, comment. I'd love to hear from you. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Until next time, live beautiful.